Hi, what's going on guys? It's Almond. Welcome back to another Wizard101 video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about how to farm socket wrenches with every single type, because I know a lot of people want to grind certain socket wrenches depending on their level and stuff like that for their gear. So I'll talk about all the different socket wrenches, how to farm them at an efficient rate, and give you guys my opinions on everything about this as well. So if you do enjoy this type of content, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, all type of stuff. Join Discord. Appreciate everyone that joins the Discord. Slowly on that rise to 1.5k members. I think we're like around 1.48 in the Discord. And then I appreciate everyone that subscribed. We're slowly on that rise to 6k. I'm hoping in January to reach 6k. So we'll have to see about that. But I'll continue to keep uploading videos. And if you have anything you want to see on the channel or need a guide for, let me know in the comments down below. But let's talk about socket wrenches. So what are socket wrenches even used for? You might not even know this. So different gear pieces have different sockets. So circles, triangles, tiers, squares, etc. Right? You know, you got the whole spiel on all the sockets. Well, if you want to unlock certain ones, for example, we can use this Aphrodite piece. You can press affix jewels, and then these are locked. To unlock them, you can either spend crowns or socket wrenches. Now, back in the day, I would be like, yeah, you're kind of just force these crowns. But nowadays, don't be spending crowns. You should be farming the socket wrenches. So there's a key part in all of this, and it's a new vendor that's in Soundopolis, which I've talked about before in a YouTube short, if you do watch the YouTube shorts. But this is a very key part of getting all the other socket wrenches in this whole video. And this is the main premise. I will talk about the other ways you can farm it, but this is something that's very important that you have to keep in mind. So if you go to Soundopolis and you visit this vendor right here, I think it's called Tabit, Socket Wrench Crafter. This is a really good vendor that needs more attention than people realize. It really needs attention. Basically, you can go out and farm your legendary socket wrenches and you can condense them down to the ones that you need. So if, for example, you're creating a new character and you're like, oh, I want to use some adept socket wrenches, artisan, or even doing some sort of PvP, right? And you don't want to spend crowns, or you don't want to go out and farm the specific bosses, go farm legendary socket wrenches, turn them into Grandmaster, and then condense them down even further down. It's a very nice vendor that needs more attention, so I wanted to dedicate a video on socket wrenches because of that. So what you should be doing, which will go in order of how to farm certain ones, when we talk about legendary socket wrenches, definitely that will be the key thing that you should be farming if you want the other variations of the socket wrenches too, because every socket wrench works for different pieces of gear depending on the level. So for example, if I have a piece of gear that's level 15 through 30, you can only use novice socket wrenches on those. You can't use a legendary. So what you can do is you can go to this vendor, use that legendary socket wrench, turn it into a Grandmaster, and then slowly condense it down, which is the best way of doing this. I don't want a vendor that is the opposite, where you can condense them up. I'd rather have them condense them down, because everyone is more likely farming the legendary socket wrenches instead of the lower tier versions. So it's a key part. So let me quickly break it down for you what the brackets are. So novice socket wrenches are level 15 through 30. Adept socket wrenches are 35 through 54. Expert is for 55 and 74, and then master is 75 through 94, and then artisan is 95 through 114, grandmaster is 115 through 134, and then lastly, which is the current one, which is the legendary socket wrenches, is what we're talking about. You get that for gear that's 135 and 170, so you can use those socket wrenches on those pieces of gear that you have, like wands, themes, amulets, rings, and decks, to unsocket them, or basically to unlock the socket or whatever. And then you can use those, so you can put like a jewel, a damage jewel, pierce jewel, health, item cards, accuracy, so forth, right? There's so many things. So that's why I want to include this. Now let's get to the portion of where to farm everything, which I have footage for everything. I literally spent the whole day getting footage on all the different bosses. But main thing is farm your legendary socket wrenches. That's the key part. So who should you farm for legendary socket wrenches? There's two main spots. What you should do is go farm Crash the Bandicoot. You can get this quest via Lady Cortexia, in that little hotel-esque area, and you can talk to her. She'll give you the quest in Wallaroo, do that whole quest line, and you can farm Crash. Crash is, in my opinion, still the #1 spot, right? He also drops Stream Water, he also drops Spell Elements, as well as the amulets if you care about the Reaver amulets. Very good spot, highly recommend that you go farm your socket wrenches there. But there's a secondary option now because with the addition of Selenopolis. Now, if you don't care about Dreamwater and you need your moon dust, right? Because moon dust is used to craft the gear via Selenopolis, aka if you want to use it on crafting your hat, robe, boots, wands, and stuff like that. Even the Athame amulet ring, which I already talked about in a separate video on what's better, right? There's already a video on the channel, so if you're confused, definitely watch that video. But you can farm Mother Sun instead. Mother Sun does drop socket wrenches, but keep in mind, it is 2 fights. The thing is with Crash, why it's a little bit more efficient, it's a 1 fight, right? While Mother Sun, you have to do 2 separate fights, right? And they're both essentially 1-round fights. Literally, Mother Sun has 2 fights. They're both 1-roundable. Crash is 1-roundable. But in team up, you're more likely gonna 2-round most of the fights because not everyone's gonna rock a Scald and Incendiate build, right? If you're with the team, just do Scald and Incendiate. But if you're doing team up or just random assortment of teams, you just use Frenzy, AoE, not too much to think about, right? So pick who you want, right? But if you're specifically just targeting socket wrenches, do Crash. But if you want socket wrenches as well as Moondust, and stuff like that, to target your gear at the same time, do Mother Sun. You can pick which one you want. It's just that not many people understand how to unlock Mother Sun, which there is already a video on the channel. So if you're confused and you're doing Selenopolis and you don't know how to unlock Mother Sun, watch the video. It's already on the channel. That tells you how to unlock it, how to do the fight, etc. So definitely very easy. More people need to unlock Mother Sun because some people just don't want to do it because it's an annoying quest line. It's not really too annoying, it's just time consuming. While Crash was just a, hey, go talk to this person, okay, you can fight Crash. While Mother Sun's like, okay, do this quest, do this quest, do this quest, also do that quest, and then you can go fight Mother Sun. So that's why a lot of people were more annoyed about that, which is understandable. Now that you know how to farm socket wrenches, Legendary Rise, because that is the one that I would recommend. Now, if for some reason you're like, hey, Almond, I don't want to farm Legendary socket wrenches for some weird reason, right? Even though I highly recommend that you farm Legendary socket wrenches. How do I farm the other ones? For some reason, I have you covered in this video too. But like I said, as I'm literally going to mention this the entire time, farm Legendary socket wrenches. Don't farm these other ones because they're more annoying to get. Legendary socket wrenches drop like nothing. They drop like a piece of cake, and you can just use those and condense them down to the ones that you want. That's just my recommendation. But let's talk about the other ones, right? So if you want Grandmaster socket wrenches and you want to go out and go farm them, you can either do Grandfather Spider in Mirage. It's an annoying, tedious fight. Not many people are even doing it nowadays. And you're not farming, like people don't even do that fight realistically. But if you want to, you can go farm Spider. If not, since there is the holidays right now, I'm only including this because at the time I'm recording this, it is the holidays. You can go do Krampus. And you want to do the Krampus that's level 110 to max. So which would be 170. Don't do Krampus at like a level 1 variation. You're not going to get Grandmaster socket wrenches. You're just not, because that's how the tier system works. So if you're a level 110 through 170, do Krampus. There's already a guide on the channel, so there you go. But as I stated, do the Legendary socket wrenches instead. But that's how you get Grandmaster. There's other ways too. You can check the wiki if you want to farm something else. But I'm only going to go over the ones I feel like are worth mentioning, not key bosses too much. The only reason I'm including Krampus is because of the holiday seasons. So it just kind of makes sense to me. Let's talk about Artisan socket wrenches now. Now those fall into the category of level 95 through 114. Now you can go farm Rattlebones or Cracker Patch or Exalted Duels. Now those are the only two I would recommend. I don't recommend you doing the Zeus one or Meow You're just gonna waste your time. But I advise you to do either Rattlebones or Cracker Patch just because you're also farming your moats, and those moats are used for the Darkmoor deck, which I highly recommend every person to have a Darkmoor deck, especially if you're gonna do Decathlon. Every time there's a Decathlon video I post, I highly recommend they use the Decathlon deck, or not the Decathlon deck, the Darkmoor deck with the square socket, because you can put on extra HP, yada yada yada. But yeah, do Rattlebones or Cracker Patcher. Those are the only two I'd recommend. Exalted especially, but no one does them too much nowadays. They're like, there's nothing to be sought after other than crafting a Darkmoor deck. Or if you're gonna farm, maybe Ultra Seeds or maybe Socket Wrenches, but maybe. That's like pushing it though. That's like very much pushing it. And then if you don't want to do all that, you don't want to do rematches. No, not rematches. But if you don't want to do the one-shot gauntlets, like the old ones, right? The duels, Exalted Duels, you can do Morgant. Yeah, Morgant does drop them. But like I said, these are all tedious options. So that's what I'm saying. Farm Legendary Socket Wrenches instead. You'll save so much more time. But those are your options for Artisan Socket Wrenches. And then if you want master socket wrenches, which is for the category level 75 through 94, you can go do, as I stated earlier, Rattlebones or Crocopatra Exalted duels. The thing is with these duels, they drop both. So during your attempts, you might get a master socket wrench, or you might get an artisan socket wrench, which is kind of annoying that they're both in the pool. So I try to like target ones that, you know, are kind of going to be useful. But like I said, legendary socket wrenches better. And then if not, you don't want to do those, you can go do the Pendragon. You don't have to do the whole dungeon to do Pendragon. You can literally just walk around the fight and go fight the Pendragon. That is an option. It's worth mentioning, right? There's other things on the list that you can farm, but I'm only recommending the ones that might actually be worth your time farming. So there's that. And then we move on to Expert, which is level 55 through 74. There's two things I would only recommend farming for Expert is either TT Snaketail, which is in Mirror Lake. It's literally the first fight that you do. You can go do that and you can get some Expert socket wrenches. Pretty straightforward. Your other option is doing master duels of Rattlebones. As stated, no one's doing duels nowadays unless you're doing the moats or ultra seeds. Still a very niche thing to talk about, but hey, if you want to get expert socket wrenches that way, those are my only two recommendations. But as I'm stating earlier, legendary socket wrenches, trust me, do those instead. And then if you want adept socket wrenches, the only person I would recommend because of my experience, and I've gotten so many, which is Jade Oni. Jade Oni drops them so often, and that's how I farmed it for before Salinopolis, you know, both the whole vendor and stuff like that. I used to farm Jade Oni because it would just be easier when I was doing level 50 setups, right? Because I've been working on some stuff on the side, and I needed some adept socket wrenches, so I would just farm the Jade Oni. Pretty straightforward. And there's plenty of other things with the Jade Oni that you can get with. There's so many videos on the channel, man. So yeah, if you want adepts, you can go farm the Jade Oni. But as stated, just do legendary socket wrenches and condense them down. And then lastly, which is novice, right? You're not gonna, I mean, if you're using novice socket wrenches, you're probably doing a niche thing. But if you want to farm novice socket wrenches for 15 through 30, you can farm Roberto. Now, this is the only time I'm actually considering a key boss, other than Krampus, because Krampus was mentioned because it's, you know, it's the holidays right now. But Roberto, he's a wooden key boss that you can go to. There's a quest for it as well that gives you a wooden key. If you go talk to, I believe, Diego, right in front of the arena, he'll give you the quest to go fight Roberto. And yeah, he has a chance of dropping you a novice socket wrench. Is it something I'd recommend? No, I mean, but there's not much you can spend wooden keys on nowadays. So that's the only one I would recommend. And then the other option is doing the Doomsday Croc Gauntlet. Now, I wasn't even going to include this, but I mean, hey, it drops from here. And the other options are atrocious on the wiki. So you can go farm the Doomsday Croc, specifically on tier 1. So you're going to need like a level 1 or something to join you. So then you can get to the lowest tier. And you only want to be fighting Crocotep. Don't do the entire dungeon, just do the first 3 fights and then just repeat. But yeah, Crocotep in the dungeon, he has like 2k health, you can kind of one-shot him. But make sure you're on the correct tier, right? You don't want to be doing Crocotep like with the level 100 and that's it. Bring a level 1 with you, so it scales it down to the lowest tier, and then you can go farm Crocotep over and over. It's just a recommendation, but at the end of the day, right, now that I've given you all the spots of where you should farm socket wrenches, I'm still going to stand by the point. Go farm legendary socket wrenches. I mean, there'll probably be a day if they ever increase the socket wrenches tiers, right? There'll probably be a point in there sometime in the future and call them like transcendent socket wrenches or something like that. But whenever that happens, then we'll talk about it. But right now, we don't got to talk about it. What I recommend you doing as a player, go farm Crash, go farm Mother Sun, go farm Crash to also get your Dream Reaver amulet, because I do recommend those. And go farm some Dream Water if you need that to craft any type of Wallery gear. Or go farm Mother Sun to get your socket wrenches, get some Moon Dust, as well as get the gear that she drops from there. As well as you can use that Moon Dust to craft the Avatar gear, which is good too. They both have their own niches, and if you're confused on the gear, there's already a video on the channel, as I stated. So there's that. But I am very thankful they added this freaking vendor in Salinopolis. Very underrated vendor, but you will appreciate it now that you know this exists. Now, I already knew this exists because I made a YouTube short on it. I knew about it since Test Realm. I just didn't figure I needed to make a video on it because I figured people would realize it. But some people still don't know that this vendor exists. It is a godsend vendor, and I appreciate the devs for adding something like this. It's really good. So there's that. Hopefully you got a better understanding on socket wrenches, what they're used for, where to farm them, everything like that. But just the end all be all, go do Crash, go do Mother Son. You'll appreciate it way more, and then just condense them down to whatever ones you need for your low levels. And even then, if you're a low level, you can TP inside these dungeons. So if you have a buddy or something like that, you can TP inside and you can go farm legendary socket wrenches and then go to the vendor yourself and condense them down. That's another thing you can do as well. So hey, I'm giving you guys more options, but don't be spending crowns unless like you're an oiler. Then do whatever you want, or if you have crowns to spend. But this is something I would not recommend spending crowns on, because you can literally go farm the socket wrenches, and I have like a whole house full of socket wrenches. That's how easy it is. So there's that. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe, all type of stuff. And yeah, I appreciate all you guys, right? Definitely join the Discord too if you guys haven't. Slowly on that rise to 1.5k members, and then don't forget to subscribe. We're so close. We're not really so close, but we're on the grind to 6k. So there's that. But that is it for me, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace out, guys.